I'm Thomas Camp, and let's talk Nerd. The pre-formulated modules. We all know them, and many of us have played them. Be them the standalone module from the game shop, to the introductory ones in the back of the core book, to the crazy ones that are in the old magazines that your storyteller found in a garage sale. We've all seen them. They're a good introduction to the game and a great way for a new storyteller to get used to the system. They, in theory, do all the work for you, creating a playable adventure that can be run with very little fuss, and for the most part, can be injected anywhere in the campaign. Hence the term module. They're modular, easily slipped in, and many of them are a lot of fun, even iconic, like the Tombs of Horror from AD&D to The Haunting from Call of Cthulhu. The best ones are the ones that have a cohesive narrative that can be modified to adapt to the player's behavior or storyteller whim. The very worst ones remove player agency from the game, reducing them to spectators, or railroading, presenting situations and scenarios to the players that they cannot react to, or if they do react, have no impact on the event. The best prefabbed adventures are the ones that keep a cohesive story together while allowing players to react creatively to situations. It's a very fine line. The other word here is cohesive. It's easy to lose player interest when the situations they're presented with make no sense. Okay, so you're all walking along, and from behind a bush comes a giant rock koala. Okay, I need everyone to roll initiatives for me. Everyone rolls initiative. Giant rock koala attack. A what? Giant rock koala. But I thought you said we were in the tundra. Why is there a giant rock koala out here in the tundra? And for that fact, I thought you said this was featureless. Why is there a giant bush out here for this rock koala to hide behind? Look, that's what it says in the book here. How big is this thing? Oh, good idea. I need the mini out for it anyways. Oh yeah, it's 10 feet tall. 10 feet? Okay, fine. Let's not argue about this. Tell me it's blue. Why? Well, if it's blue, then maybe it's camouflaged? Sure, I can believe that it's camouflaged. If it makes things easier, yes, it's blue. No, it's not camouflaged. I can see it on the cover. I was wondering what that was all about. Oh, who wrote this? This is not a good place to be in. For the most part, players can be very forgiving. However, if they come up with a plan to sneak into the castle, they tend to get angry when they find out they can't get in by any means necessary, and are in fact supposed to go and, I don't know, find a dress to fit a 300-pound man in full plate? What? Let your freak flag fly, my friends. Every storyteller changes things in a module. They may adapt things to accommodate player actions or just to make things more fun. But it's never a good thing when a storyteller absolutely has to change things in an adventure they just spent money on because nothing in the story makes sense. With all that in mind, I'd like to talk about Paizo's adventure path, Serpent Skull. Paizo's adventure paths are ambitious modules in the fact they cover an entire career of an adventuring party. It starts the group at beginning levels and ends them at very high levels. The stories are epic, and the action intense. Kingdoms rise and fall, gods walk the land, and great evil bursts from these grand adventures. And Serpent Skull is no different. The basic story behind Serpent Skull is like a 1940s adventure serial told in the same vein as Indiana Jones or Quartermain. The players start off on a deserted and haunted island. As they fight their way off, they find a treasure map that leads them to a legendary lost city in the middle of a jungle. While exploring the city, they find a race of monsters who are trying to raise their beheaded god, and it's up to the players to put a stop to it. Imagine it. Fighting ghosts and cannibals on a tropical island, and then heading into the dark jungle, fighting spear-throwing crazy tribesmen and weird African-themed monsters and crocodiles and quicksand and strange temples while swinging on vines and riding rapids, all to make it to a lost city. But the city isn't abandoned. There's all these different tribes living there, and they're all fighting, and there's these factions battling factions. It's all faction-y, with factions being factions. And you can either play in the politics or just loot the place. It's all good. And you find, I don't know, Nazis. Sure, Nazis. Let's call them Nazis, because that's what they are. They're basically Nazis. You find this hidden base of Nazis, and you punch it up with them, and you find out they've got the head of Hitler. The head of Hitler. And they're going to put this on a mechanical body and create Mecha Hitler. So now you got to go into this creepy temple and fight Nazis and punch it up with Mecha Hitler in a pit match. This is awesome. I wanted it so badly to be like this. But does it live up? Let's start with the first part. Souls for Smugglers, Shiv. The setup for all of this is the players are passengers on a doomed ship that goes off course and ends up shipwrecked during a storm. Normally you'd start off in a bar, but they're trying something new. Fine. Then they get the backstory as to why the ship goes off course, and it's pretty stupid. Some evil priestess has found out there might be a forgotten temple on this haunted island, so she puts on a disguise and books passage on the boat the players are on. Once on board, she uses a bunch of magic to take control of the captain and the first mate, and forces them to sail to the island. Once close to the island, she poisons the crew, including the party, with a knockout drug. Her plan starts to unravel when a sudden storm rolls in, and she loses control of the first mate, who starts a mutiny. She and the captain are swept overboard, and the boat, in the disarray, crashes into a reef. The party and 5 other passengers, who are plot important, are rescued by the first mate, who drops them off on shore before valiantly heading back to the boat and getting killed with the rest of the crew. The boat sinks, and the players wake up on the shore being attacked by some weird sea scorpion things, and the game truly starts. My problem is, what is the evil priestess's original plan? It's kind of implied that she's trying to beach the ship, but accidentally sinks it instead. If that's the case, why drug the crew? The amount of money she spent on buying all that knockout drug in the first place, she could have used to buy passage directly to this island, or better yet, gone to a bar and hired the party to go for her. Also, the island is haunted and full of cannibals. What makes her think she's badass enough just to waltz up to this rock and get what she wants? She doesn't even know where to start looking for this lost temple. It could take her months to find anything other than ghosts and cannibals on this place, so why does she think if she beaches the ship, she'll have enough time to search the island, in secret no less, and make off with the goods before the crew fixes the boat? And the cook is dead. Murdered. And the crew was drugged. People tend to notice this sort of thing. How is she going to explain all of this? This plot is so full of holes, and we haven't even started. While we're on this, the part where the party is drugged just makes me angry. The text flat out says it's okay to lie to the players and tell them there's a chance to resist the drug, but really, there isn't one. It's predetermined that they will fail and be knocked out. It's kind of like being in a video game where the players meet the main villain and he waves his hand and knocks them out. Never mind the players have rocked an archfiend just to get to the main bad guy, and they can level a city block by flexing. The main baddie can just wave his hand because the plot says he can, and that's all there is to it. That's what I mean by railroading. The players are forced to do as they're told, so the plot can go on. With all that being said, the group wakes up on the beach with all their stuff, but not much else, except for 5 passengers who are important later on in the books. There's kind of an interesting mechanic in place to help ensure these people don't overshadow the players by making them fall into despair over the situation. The explanation is that these people are just normal, for the most part, and the players are heroes, and heroes just don't give up and die. It's actually the only time in these books the group is referred to as exceptional in any way. Each one of these passengers has a backstory, each one has an optional quest that the party can do to pad out the adventure. One is a prisoner who's been unjustly accused and needs evidence off of one of the boats that just happens to have been shipwrecked on this island. The other has a treasure map that leads to a treasure that just happens to be on the island. And another needs a special plant that cures alcoholism. Alcoholism? Alcoholism, you're addicted to alkalides. Sad state of affairs, yo. Hey, thanks for volunteering to help out like this. I just need you to go get me a magical plant to help cure my alcoholism. It cures alcoholism? I've never heard of that before. Does it do other things, like cure my crippling caffeine addiction? No, just alcoholism. Has a weird euphoric feeling, too. It's also good for glaucoma and joint pain. A euphoric feeling? Wait a minute, am I grabbing you pot? It's worth 800 XP. Gee, you didn't say that. Hey, do you need it dried? Yeah, that's what I thought. Could you get me some chips while you're out there? That'll be worth 200 XP. Oh yeah, no problem. Who knew drug running could be so rewarding? Okay. As the group explores the island, they have to deal with various challenges. Starvation, disease, getting lost, and of course, undead and cannibals. Boy howdy do they have to deal with undead and cannibals. There's like 4 big fights on this rock, and the undead are the worst, followed by the cannibals. The evil priestess who sank the boat is a bitch, but is nowhere near as frightening as the undead priestess that lives in the sea caves underneath the cannibal village. She's a ghoul, for those who know what that means, and she'll paralyze the party in record time. There's a lot of cannibals in that village too, but they are, luckily, really badly armed. The third fight is with this weird mutant thingy that flies. It's like a small lion or something. Looks like a chupacabra. Whatever. By the time the group runs into it, it's not much of a fight. The climactic battle is with the stupid evil priestess who's hiding out in a creepy, evil, hidden temple. Back to the Gold Priestess. She has a backstory, and it's pretty interesting. Basically, she's a battle priestess of some evil god that ends up shipwrecked on the island with a bunch of castaways. And because she's a fanatic and ambitious, she gets herself turned into the undead when trying to recruit a bunch of flesh-eating horrors. I said ambitious. I didn't say bright. The rest of the castaways toss her into a cave and start worshipping her as an embodiment of their evil god. Time passes, and the castaways' inbred descendants still worship her in her cave. Interesting, right? She doesn't worship the god the book says she worships. It says so in her little write-up. She worships the beheaded god the party will ultimately meet at the end of the game. Why? I don't know. At first I thought this was going to be some reoccurring theme in the overall story. A motif, if you will. Biting servants of the beheaded god in pits. Sort of a Ricky-Tikki-Tavi idea. But this is the only time in any of the books you run into this situation until the final fight. It makes no attempt to even explain why she looks like this. She just is. What's the group supposed to think about this? They'll just look at her holy symbol, scratch their heads in confusion, then ignore it. They probably won't even remember it by the time it becomes important. They'll just rack it up to randomness if it's mentioned at all. In the cave, with the undead priestess, are clues left behind by the evil priestess so the party can get to her. The party go, they fight the flying chupacabra thingy, and they find the temple where the evil priestess is hiding at. But the evil temple is hidden beneath the lagoon, so they have to find a way to lower the water. Luckily, there's a magic rock on shore that can do just that. Be ready for this, though. Magical items that do the magical thingies without any sort of mechanic backing it up. I know I'm bitching about a magical thingy doing a magical thingy because of magic, in a world where you can have a stick that shoots a fireball out of it, but with the stick, there's a regimented and very tight system of magic that has to be followed for that stick to do that. This rock can just do it. There's no mechanics, there's no explanations, it just says in the little text, and the rock can be used to lower the water. I have so many questions about this, though. There's no explanations, there's no reasonings. Can the rock be moved to other lagoons? How much water can it move? How was it made? Does it have charges? There's no answers to this. And this isn't the only time in this overall story they rely on the Deus Ex Machina magical item. You'll have the joy of watching me froth about a magical drill later on. The final fight is with the evil priestess in the submerged temple. It's funny how detailed this part is, with the evil priestess's movements being mapped out with explanations about everything she's done while inside. Funny compared to the magical water-lowering rock outside, or the blood-spewing profane altar in this temple, which is the cause to all the hauntings outside on the island. Let's just say that cult that worshipped here was big into bloodletting. Really big. Like vampire fanfic big. A blood-spewing, profane altar. I just want to see the catalog they ordered that from. I wonder if you could order with specific blood types. Do you order with a credit card? Would you? Once they beat her, they get her research and find the map to the next part of the adventure. Done and done. So what did I think? I liked a lot of this adventure. The Maroon storyline is an underused theme in most games, and it's good to see it here. It's kind of a pain that the story starts with a nautical theme because later it dives into the jungle and then drops underground. It kind of limits players' choice of characters, and it's a little misleading. The worst part is the sheer stupidity of the overall plot and the action of the main bad guys. My advice, take it and run it as the start to another better adventure, because believe me, it only gets worse from here. Next time, it'll be a rat race. A race to ruin. Hey.
Hello.
We couldn't help but notice you out here. What are you doing?
I am a bush.
A bush? Well, what are you doing way out here?
I grew up here, and I've decided to become a bush.
Oh, okay. He says he's a bush. A bush? Yeah, a bush. What's he doing way out here? Said he grew up here. That's stupid. Does he have anything of value? He's got a bush. I think go fireball him, just to be on the safe side. Good idea.
Wait, what?
You're so close. Why do you keep screwing this up? This isn't hard. Hell, you wrote this. Sorry, he's new. You wrote it. Just fucking focus, man. Focus. Writers. Hey, where's my mark? I'm good. We're good. You know I can see your fingers, right? This is bad puppetry.